Blake Masters is freaking scared right now, out of his mind. He's running scared from his abortion stance. So he released this ad claiming that Mark Kelly, who is his opponent for the Senate, lied about his position on abortion. The one who's lying is Blake Masters because ahead of this ad, he scrubbed almost all mention of abortion from his campaign website, which was quite explicit. Notably, he wrote about how he was quote 100% pro-life.
That was on the website?
On
No
the
longer on
website,
the website?
no longer. He talked about how he was in support of a uh, federal personhood law, ideally a constitutional amendment that recognizes that unborn babies are human beings that may not be killed. That is a direct quote. The website changed and now says that he supports a law or constitutional amendment that bans late term trimester abortions and partial birth abortions at the federal level. Now, just to clarify this for people, late term abortions don't happen just because somebody's procrastinating. They happen when the life of the mother is in danger and I don't know, like the baby has the fetus has some sort of birth defect. Like I saw a report the other day about a woman who was forced to carry her baby through to term when the baby was being grown without a skull. That's an example of when a late term abortion would be something that is necessary in that instance. And so that's why you just need blanket abortion legality. But, he's trying to split the baby, not to use that phrase, except I just did in this instance. Regardless, though, here is his ad claiming that Mark Kelly is lying about him because he's so afraid of the growing outrage about Roe v. Wade being overturned and that being reflected at the polls.
Most people support common sense regulation around abortion. But Mark Kelly votes for the most extreme abortion laws in the world. We're talking no limits up until birth. Think about how crazy that is. That's more extreme than Western Europe. It's way more extreme than what Arizonans want. Look, I support a ban on very late term and partial birth abortion. And most Americans agree with that. That would just put us on par with other civilized nations. Mark Kelly, the only countries that support his no limits, extreme abortion policies are China and North Korea.
Scary.
I'm Blake Masters, and I approve this message. TIE fighter incoming.
It just seems like he's pretty freaked out.
Yeah, I mean, we had Lillian Chichurkia on Left Reckoning this week, and she talked about how the Netherlands particularly has some of the most lax abortion restrictions, 24 weeks up to 24 weeks, and then past 24 weeks for medical reasons. And they also have some of the lowest abortion rates. And that's just how you do it. Right, like because they have those low abortion rates because of the other sort of social safety net and support for families and mothers that we should be doing here. That's simply it. And it's very funny to see this worm, who Blake Masters. If people don't know, I mean, like I feel like Republicans, like if people knew that he is just like a teacher's assistant for Peter Thiel at Stanford, like that's all this guy does.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I don't like to play the whole like never had a real job sort of stuff, because I think public service particularly is like as real a job as you can get. But Blake Masters was literally just like taking down notes for Peter Thiel at Stanford. So that this guy is like a genuine populist or something. No, he's as Chapo says, like he's a courtier.
And that's the only reason he's in this position at all, is because he sat at the feet of the oligarch that is Peter Thiel, and Peter Thiel rewarded him with a Senate candidacy, well funded by Peter Thiel himself and backers associated with him. And he has no spine whatsoever because, hey, why would you hide from the actual positions that you held? Like, this guy does not genuinely support what he's saying.
Yeah.
I mean, one, because the kind of ban that he's talking about is not feasible based on the conditions that I described, being for those kinds of abortions being necessary in severe medical instances, especially when the life of the child or the life of the mother is in danger. But the fact of the matter is that he was before Roe v. Wade got overturned officially. There were quotes of him saying we should look into overturning the right to contraception. That was one of the quotes that he had floating around out there, which like he's an extremist in that way. He's just trying to lie to you and then say that Mark Kelly is lying to you.
And it's hard to know exactly what he believes. I mean, I'm plenty willing to believe that he's basically just a crypto fascist. I mean, I think that's who the type of person that Peter Thiel would invest in. But it's also like he doesn't believe. It's hard to know exactly what he even believes in. Like that thing about contraception. Like he is the main thing that is more than him expressing his true beliefs is he's trying to activate fascists, and that's the same thing he was doing with we're going to do a constitutional amendment, and I just
But
wonder,
now it's flipped on him.
exactly, now it's flipped because he has to like actually like see voters that aren't Republicans, and good luck with that. But I think people need to absolutely remember that, and Republican voters also need to know that this is happening, and so they don't turn out for him.
It's just the dynamic, like the power changed in terms of the voter base. He's running scared because when he was quoted on abortion, when he was quoted on Griswold v. Connecticut, that was him feeling himself and realizing, oh, Biden's unpopular. If I activate the crazies, if I activate the base, I have a good shot of winning this in the fall. And then the tables turned and people understood that abortion rights were on the ballot and Democrats are looking much better in terms of their chances, especially in a state like Arizona in the fall. And so then he has to change his position. He has to change his strategy. That's all this is.
And as they move to this, we just wanted to open it up to the voters and stuff like that, like which a lot of people like Glenn Greenwald were defending the initial decision for, like, no, this is just about democracy. But you realize like how like this uphill battle shouldn't need to be fought, but the way that our electoral system is stacked towards these people, like some of them might actually win, despite holding very, very unpopular positions about Roe versus Wade, and like we might just have to deal with that. And it's good like for all the Kansases and stuff like that we actually are able to win, but it shouldn't have to be fighting all these battles because we're playing with a stacked deck and the wrong side's going to win on some of these.